Alright, welcome back to another pencast on fiscal policy. This one here is part 3. Alright, so what are we going to do? Alright, so with fiscal policy we can talk about the changes or the initiatives, if you like, and we can classify them into two types. There'll be discretionary initiatives, if you like, or we talk about discretionary fiscal policy, and there'll be non-discretionary changes, if you like. So we'll talk about non-discretionary fiscal policy. What's this word discretionary mean? Well, it means that anything under your discretion comes under your control. If it's non-discretionary, then you've got no control. It kind of happens anyway, or kind of happens automatically. Now, with discretionary fiscal policy, it's normally used to pursue economic and social goals. And we've already, in relationship to this, we've already talked about the New Zealand Super Fund. There's, free healthcare for the under 5s, or has that changed now? Is it the under 13s? So I haven't kept up with that. Some of you will know if you've got children. Right, and then there's the non-discretionary fiscal policy, which is used to stabilise the business cycle, stabilise the business cycle. All right, so let's just quickly deal with the discretionary. Now we'll just put a little model here, a little modelling model, if you like. Now, discretionary fiscal policy will involve you making deliberate changes to the tax rate. It will have you making, deliberate changes to the level of government spending. It'll have you making deliberate changes to transfer payments in pursuit of economic and social goals. Alright, it's as simple as that. Now on discretionary fiscal policy. So non-discretionary fiscal policy involves the use of automatic stabilisers to moderate the business cycle. The whole business cycle is pretty important, isn't it? It just helps frame our thinking. So what I mean by moderate the business cycle? Well, that business cycle is showing a lot of volatility, isn't it? Lots of up and down. If we use the automatic stabilisers, then what we'll end up with is something. We'll end up with a more moderate business cycle. Can you see what's happened? What we've done is that we've reduced the peak, or the boom. So we've reduced the boom, and what we've done here is that we've decreased the trough. So what's the importance of this moderation? Well, it's the fact that a moderate or a stabilised business cycle promotes economic growth. People do not like investing when there's a lot of volatility. And the funny thing is this: if you have a high peak, then sure as night follows day, you're going to have a very deep trough. Sometimes you'll get this kind of amplitude effect going on if there's a lot of volatility. Things actually start on getting worse. Right, so we want to try and avoid that. Okay, so let's just turn the page. Now there are two stabilisers that we're going to focus on. One is the graduated tax scale, and the other one are transfer payments, and especially the unemployment benefit. Right, so how's it all going to work? Well, look at the deck. All right. So in an expansionary phase, what's going to happen is that the transfer payments are going to go down. Why? Because there are going to be less people that are unemployed, and the tax collection as percentage of national income is going to go up. So these things combined means that consumers and businesses' spending power is reduced, and that's what we want. Yeah, you can see it, can't you? Look, y equals c plus I plus g plus x minus m. What's going to happen because of these automatic stabilisers kicking in is this is going to go down, isn't it? Why is that? Well, remember, this is about 60% of GDP. So if that goes down, this is going to go down. And instead of the business cycle having a high peak, the peak is not going to be so high, is it? Because we've had moderation. There's been some spending power that's been removed from consumers and businesses. Right, what about under age? What about in a recessionary phase? What's going to happen? Well, transfer payments will go up because the number of unemployed workers will increase, and if they qualify, they'll get the unemployment benefit. It's paid out automatically. All right, and the tax collection is a percentage of national income decreases. And you know what I'm going to say now? I'm going to say that purchasing or spending power, purchasing power increases. What does that mean? Well, look, just come back to here, come back to basics, can't get away from it. What's going to happen is household consumption spending is going to go up, isn't it? Therefore, Y is going to go up. So just coming back to the business cycle, instead of us heading down into a very deep trough, the trough is going to be much more shallow, much more moderate. Okay, so we'll turn the page and do a bit of modelling. So here's a graduated tax scale, and I've just done this for us. So I'm saying income between 0 and 100,000 is going to attract a tax of 20 cents per per dollar of income. And then anything above that is going to attract tax of 40 cents per dollar of income. Right, that's pretty explanatory, isn't it? There's a graduation. In fact, this is what we call a progressive tax scale, because the tax rate is climbing. All right. Well, let's now use that information to do some modelling. Turning the page. So what we've got here is we've got an income of 100,000. What's going to be the tax on that? Well, the tax is going to be 20,000, isn't it? What's your disposable income going to be? Well, and assuming there are no transfers, well, you know that's going to be 80,000. All right. What about now if you've got an income, and you'd be lucky, of $201,000? What's the tax going to be on that? Well, you'll pay 20,000 on the first 100,000, and on the second 100,000 you'll pay 40,000. So the total tax bill is going to be 60,000. What's your disposable income, or your DI, going to be? Okay, it's going to be 140,000. All right. Why don't we then, just to sort of get a perspective on things, why don't we put the disposable income over the gross income and just see what's happening? So when I do it for that first salary of 100,000, or income of 100,000, gross income, what's that ratio going to be? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put 80,000 over 100,000, and if your math is any good as mine, it's going to come out at equaling 0.8. What about when we put 140,000 over 201,000? And what we're going to come out with is 0.7. So this is the take-home message. On a higher income has proportionately less spending power. So that's how the graduated tax scale works to moderate the business cycle. Especially when incomes are going up, people find that their spending power is reducing per extra dollar earned. Why? Because the government is taking more away in tax. And the process works in reverse when the economy is going into recession. When their incomes are falling, what they find is that their proportion of their spending power is going up because the government is taking less in tax away from each extra dollar earned. Alright, well look, that's enough from me. I'm going to call it. Catch you later. Remember, we have some exercises to do in class. Catch you.